Why is this so slow? Mm, okay, whatever. Hello, welcome. My name is Honolulu. If you found me, that means you've made it to the right side of the universe. Um, Today is Wednesday. Why Wednesday? Why I hate. This is edition, mm, I don't know, four, five, three. I don't know. Of our Why I Hate series. And today, finally, that dumpster fire of a tournament is over, so I can get all my thoughts out, dump them here, and I never have to think about it again. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the World Cup. I hate it. I hated it. I hate it. I hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Hate it. Now, let me give you my disclaimer. I don't hate the World Cup. I don't hate soccer. Um, I've actually been a fan since like 2006, okay? I was tapped in when the World Cup was in Germany. Oof. I've been passionate since then. So, yeah. Also, I have a brain, half at least, half of it is working. So I do understand that FIFA as a corporation is nasty and rotted and villainous, just like all the other ones in this world, because that's what companies are essentially. Nasty, rotted, villainous conglomerates of greedy, swine-backed individuals who just want to make money off of exploiting people. I understand this. I understand this. So what I'm talking about today is not going to be like, oh, the previous World Cups where there's no corruption and FIFA's always been an angel and now suddenly they're no, 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 no. I'm just talking about how the vibe has been corrupted openly, blatantly. Like they fully just played in our face. And I think that that was their goal this year, maybe? I don't know. Um, just originally I wanted to react to the halftime show. But honestly, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I'm not giving them any more views. They don't need my help. But I will be talking about it. So, um, if you didn't watch it, uh, I'm not gonna go tell you to watch it because don't be racking up their views. Go on incognito or something. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Um, I also don't want to get like copy strike if this goes on YouTube. So yeah. Um, we'll start at the top though. We will start at the top. My first thought is so in general, this World Cup was in America or United States, Canada, and Mexico, which was a money thing because they did not believe they had the facilities to for a single country to host. So this is like the new normal now where unless you're like Qatar or Saudi Arabia and you got that oil money, um yeah, gone are the days where a World Cup is in a single country, which I mean, I guess like I don't know fully the economic side of it all and the ins and outs of everything. And it maybe is better for like locals that their country and their cities are not super 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 flooded with tourists and all that noise. So I can see how there could be positives for it. I'm not completely ignorant to that fact. Um so yeah, that's neither here nor there. I do feel like it's probably quite stressful for the players if they have to, like, because we saw the shady shit that they were doing, like what happened with Iran. They were based in Mexico because they weren't allowed to come to the United States. But then they had a game in Seattle, but then they were kicked out immediately after the game. Like, then other teams like Argentina, they get to play in the same location for multiple games, or I actually don't know where their base camp was. But just the idea of some people got to move around a lot, some people don't have to move around. That can affect you. Um, but more so just in general, America. Sorry, not America, like the continents. United States. You guys get your greasy, fat Coca-Cola, McDonald's fingers off of the beautiful game. Okay, you have NFL, you have NBA, you MLB. I don't know. You guys can keep that. Don't ruin the spirit of soccer just because you want to make more money. But I guess that's exactly why they would do a thing like that. How stupid of me. Um, it goes all the way back to it was in December, like the 6th of December or something, at the end of last year when they did the draw, and um Miss Johnny Infantino thought it would be cute to make up a bullshit award to give his boyfriend Donald Trump. That right there was the end of the beginning of the end. Cause what? What? What does that mean? The FIFA Peace Prize? Like, oh, I don't even want to get into, because I'm not aware of any incidents because the news was probably, like, the media was definitely on cleanup duty. Um, but the whole situation with ICE in the United States, a lot of tourists, fans flocking to various cities across the United States to go support their teams. I don't even want to know what people might have experienced because of the nasty policing, the militarization of it all. Ugh, I shudder at the thought. And the fact that it's scary because I haven't really heard people talking about it or mentioning anything. Like, it's something that just people were rioting months ago over ICE. I'm not saying that they're not still, but I'm talking about the media was talking about it. But then when the World Cup hit, now the mainstream media, I guess, that's something to know. So it's giving very cleanup, cleanup crew. So overall, I feel like the fun, free, beautiful, hearty world unity aspect was already lost from the jump. Mm, and you see this, it gets exposed a lot with the halftime show specifically, because that's where they really tried to drive it home. Um, it didn't feel like a party, specifically for the halftime show. The people that they chose, I can't be the only one thinking this. Please, please. I'm not crazy to say that a lineup of, who was it? Madonna, Shakira, and BTS. That's who they told us in advance who's gonna be there. And I thought, okay, that's kind of like a Nightmare Blunt rotation. What the hell? We have Madonna here for like all the casuals and the white people, and we have BTS so all the little girls can make their dads watch or something like that. And then Shakira's here because it's soccer. And she just represents, she just gets to be the for there for like anyone who's slightly darker than a paper bag. That's what she represents. That's what she's gonna be here for. That's the pull. Okay, okay. So that's probably their reasoning for why they chose that lineup. Um, and then in the days leading up to it, they're like, "Oh yeah, actually, we're gonna have Muppets, and we're gonna have Justin Bieber, and we're gonna have da 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 da." I'm just wondering, did they know this in advance and they didn't want to confuse people, so they didn't mention it, or was it a last minute thing? I don't know. It just doesn't seem like maybe they knew what they were doing. Um, okay. But then when we get to the actual event, here I was thinking the whole entire time, okay, they're bringing in all these big people, and it's the first ever World Cup halftime show. Coca-Cola halftime show. Get out of here with all the sponsors. Um, but I don't know why I was expecting this. My bad, my mistake. Sorry, I want things to be entertaining, but I was expecting that they were gonna do something more coherent. Like, why did I have it in my mind? Okay, they're gonna perform together. They're gonna do some sort of medley. That didn't happen. Why didn't that happen? I don't know. It was from an individual standpoint, the songs that were chosen. Okay, well, I guess Shakira's part made sense because that was the World Cup song, but like y'all have been playing that song every single game. We've heard that over 100 times now. So it kind of, I don't know, to me, for me, lost the impact when they played it there. I wasn't gagging. Um, but Madonna, I don't even remember what it was. It wasn't really like a, it didn't really feel like a performance. I don't know. It kind of, I guess it's off her new album, which I don't know her like that, so I can't comment. But I do have things to say about. I do have opinions about that I may or may not reveal down the road. But it just felt like it's a bit stale, a bit tired. So then her opening it up and like the little backdoor garage thing, and then coming out in the little car. I don't know. It was just tired. It's getting tired. Um, but then okay, who am I forgetting? The BTS. Didn't y'all disband or something? I don't know. I felt like that was kind of really random. I don't even remember what song they performed either. Um, but it just felt like based off of those three main people, we're already on different planes. Okay. And they threw in the one I want to talk about, Justin Bieber, and he played like some sad Christian song or whatever. I don't know. It was just so lackluster and random and incoherent. It was chaotic and not in a good way. Which okay, put a pin there with the Justin Bieber's part. Put a pin there. Put a pin there. We'll get back to it in another point. But yeah, the staging was poor, which I think didn't help the fact that the choices for your headliners was poor and it wasn't really well thought out and it didn't really mesh together. And this was further exacerbated by the fact that there was someone here and then it would like cut and there'd be a pause and it'd be here and the transitions were bad and the staging was bad. I feel like if they had better transitions, it could have worked, but it was kind of very much like we didn't rehearse this and we didn't rehearse this together. We didn't rehearse this all as one. It didn't feel like it was meant to be one coherent presentation. It was very like, okay, Madonna rehearsed here like 2 days ago, and then BTS rehearsed here, and they didn't even say hi to Madonna, and then Shakira was here doing her own thing. Like it, mm. And as an audience member, as a viewer, I felt very disconnected because it felt like they were disconnected. Um, yeah. Overall, unprepared, chaotic. It was a mess. Questionable. Didn't like it performance wise. And then going off of that, I feel like because it was so incoherent and discombobulated, I didn't get a sense of a there was no point of view and there was no theme. And I know all you people foaming at the mouths being like, "Oh, but it's like unity and like peace and children or something." And yeah, yeah. Very what's the word? What's the expression that I'm thinking of? It was very lazy, very cheap. Like we're just gonna put children here and say it's peace. And like AI generated ass concept, in my opinion. Um, which another thing, the fact that it was there was children everywhere. I don't know. It felt like pandering to the pedophiles a little bit because they were just like, yeah, we're gonna put kids and we're gonna make them sing and they're gonna be dancing and it's gonna be all about them. And why? I ask just why? Kids can't dance. Kids can't sing. Um, it just felt like they were trying to focus on the kids a lot, which it's like it's not really to me. That's not entertaining and that's not impressive. Why else would you put kids there? Because there's people who like kids who you want to be watching. I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far with it. I don't know. Let me know. Um, in terms of POV and theme, I felt like it was a bad. It left a bad taste. How the emphasis was so like on this superficial vision of unity and peace. Um, after Justin Bieber finished his song and they put on like the screen or whatever, the the Congolese man who was like impersonating or imitating yeah, wait, what's the word? The Patrice Lumumba impersonator guy. For what reason? For what reason? And it was said something like peace, alleluia, or everything, alleluia. I don't know. Corny and stupid and tone deaf. Because I feel like that man, like Patrice Lumumba, and what that man um going to the games dressing up as him, what he's representing, what he's standing for is actually the opposite of what this whole thing is. So I felt like it was it's like I said, it's almost like they're playing in our face because they know that they're the reason why people like that even come about. And it's kind of like they're just like rubbing it in like, haha, you dumb activist kind of thing. I don't know. Is that me? Is that just me? Am I the only one? Um, felt like a practical joke playing up unity when we know that they're corrupt, they know that they're corrupt, and they know that we know they're corrupt at this point. It's like an open secret. And then they decide to play in our face by doing like peace and unity. I don't know. It just felt like if they just pretended, like they used to just pretend. I don't know. The Trump ruined it. Trump ruined it. He really did. He was probably falling asleep at the game. Like I don't even know why he would think that it's appropriate for him to can he just not can he just not the only thing that he can go to is the grave as far as I'm concerned. I feel like they put 110% into their corruption this time around instead of just the regular 100%. They went like they tried to go the extra mile to make sure that we know there's a gap between what us and them. We're a big corporation and you will watch no matter what. So we can do whatever we want. And we did, and we did. And yeah, I'm a hypocrite because I did watch almost every game and I was there watching the final. So I can't really talk. But I can because we can be upset about these things. Two things can be true at once. I can want to enjoy global soccer tournament, but then also be able to point out the fact that, hmm, there's this nastiness going on behind the scenes. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know. So that is pretty much my professionally, unprofessionally, profession, my professional, unprofessional opinion that nobody asked for. But maybe I can open the floor to critical discourse because we need that in this world because there are too many people getting up in front of their cameras with a little microphone and running their yak mouths. So hopefully I can be the antichrist of that. Does that make sense? No, of course that doesn't make sense. Mm, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Uh, that's kind of reminding me of something else. This is just okay. We're gonna improv it now. I didn't take notes for this. I'm just going off of the old noodle. Um, Congratulations to Spain. I'm glad it was them and not the other team. That hashtag other team. um, I'm talking about you, Argentina. So if I have any Argentina fans, Argentina citizens in the audience right now, I just like to let you know that you're valid and I see you. You are valid and I see you, and this is my disclaimer. This is whatever I'm about to say is in no I don't mean to I'm not trying to dogpile and just add to the noise and the nonsense. But I do want to address something that I keep seeing online. And yeah, it was something that started happening throughout the course of this tournament. But then specifically after the final, I feel like it kind of blew up. So, and that is this Argentina hate train. First and again, if you're from Argentina, I'm sure there's a lot of you guys who are good people, amazing people, great people, even. So I'm speaking very generally, very broadly. I'm not referring to individuals and hit dogs holler. That's all I'm going to say. So if you feel like I'm calling you out and offending you and triggering you, then that's maybe a sign that your behavior is kind of whack. Um, if you are just discovering that Argentina is a corrupt country now, I'm so sorry for you. You must have been living under a rock or in like a bubblegum castle or something. Because what? What? The fact that people are just finding this out now? But I guess everyone has their own ability. But yeah. So now seeing, and not even just talking in the world of football, not even just reserved to the world of football, because I know there's things like the hand of God incident, and they spiked the Brazilian player's drink, and what was the other one? They bribed the Peruvian team at some past competition so they would throw the match. Like there's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to, and if you think, I was gonna say, if you are still one of those people who like, but Wikipedia is not a credible thing, grow up, grow up, grow up, grow up. You probably use AI. Um, but there's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to specifically Argentina's corruption when it comes to football. I don't know. It's there black and white. So feel free to go check that out. But what I want to say is, as a country too, and again, I'm not well versed specifically in the ins and outs of economy, economics, but I do know it's also not rocket science, and politics and government and all that good stuff. Eh, See, when because the people on this Argentina hate train, I feel like they're missing important context and they're just trying to voice their frustrations over um like for example, Egypt, that Egypt versus Argentina match. I understand why Egyptian fans would be very frustrated with that result. Um, and then they would take out their anger by seeing, oh look, people are saying Argentina's evil and stuff online, so then they're gonna be like, that makes them feel good, so they'll perpetuate it, which is, again, I'm not saying that it's not true, but I'm not saying that's the end all and be all. And I feel like that's where we're missing. We're just woo 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 woo. Um, when and this applies to every country really. They all, if you are not, this is everything, every single thing in the world that you're ever gonna do and you're ever gonna know, you must understand the context. Like all the things that happened before to get us to this point. Things don't just happen. So the corruption and like this perceived villainy of Argentina is not just because they're evil and we're good, because South America has a specific colonial legacy. So similar things can and do happen across all of those things. Like we talk about Argentina, but not Uruguay. They kind of have like they're right beside each other, and there's like similar things going on. This is just something to think about. This is just something to think about. It's very easy for us to do an us versus them, to do a we're good and they're bad, because that makes us feel good, and that means that we don't have to think about the role that we play in the things that happen. But yeah, so there's a reason why things develop the way they do, because things were developing as they were developing. What did I want to say about that? I was going somewhere. I was going somewhere with this. Argentina, corruption. I guess I just wanted to address the fact that we need to be thinking, we need to have a critical criticism, if you will. We can't just be like, my team lost, so that means Argentina is bad. Like, yes, objectively, yeah, yes, objectively, there's some shit going down, but we have to separate. We need to be able to separate things and have better understanding, because I also like, you can say, oh, Argentina's evil, Argentina's racist and stuff, but then we still have to, like, if you met someone from Argentina on the street, you gotta still respect them until, of course, they give you a reason not to. Like, they need to prove it, is what I'm saying. Like, you might think generally this is something that I know and blah 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 blah, but because that's quite, and this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous that I'm even talking about this as if like Argentina is being oppressed now after this. Crazy, 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 crazy world. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if we all just think like this based off of generalizations and stereotypes, and yes, there's a reason why we would even have this notion that Argentina would be like this. It's because we've probably come in contact with, like, so it's just this pattern that we're used to. But you have to be in control of your own mind and understand that it's just a pattern and it's not a fact. It is just a pattern, and it's not an unchangeable fact. We must always be, always, always, always be questioning. That's something you're gonna learn here. You, I'm talking to you. Question, 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 even question me. Even question me. That's why I'm here. I'm just telling you my thoughts and what I think that I've thought about, and I will encourage you to think what you think about me thinking. I hope that makes sense, because it makes a lot of sense to me. So we can't just sit here, and there needs to be more nuance. Yeah, that's what it is. There needs to be way more nuance in the way we go about these things. Because this is, I know I originally started talking about soccer and the World Cup, but this is going like spilling over to a greater issue and just the way people engage with each other online and then as a fan, like why are you sending death threats to people? What's up with that? Someone please explain. If you know why you send death threats, please explain because I don't get it. Mm, not that I've seen this specifically in relation to the World Cup final, but I'm just imagining the the altercation at the end of the game, if you will, the altercation. Um, if someone is a piece of shit, then that should just motivate you to not be a piece of shit. I don't know. Like, there's no sense in getting all angry and upset and bent out of shape about a thing that we can't control necessarily if we go about it in this way. Like, if someone's acting a fool and I say, hey, stop acting a fool, but like, they're just on one, so they continue acting a fool, then that's just gonna make me warn people like, okay, this person's acting a fool. Um, and that's gonna make me make sure that I'm keeping myself in check. Like, oh wait, I don't want to be going out around acting a fool like this person. So yeah, I feel like this phenomenon is not just limited to soccer, and it's a very like way we've been conditioned to think our human nature is to be violent and have this like tribalist mentality. But that's not true. I believe that you are capable of so much more. I believe that you are capable of controlling yourself and thinking critically. Like, oh, maybe where is this thing that I'm thinking coming from? Why do I feel this way? Why am I acting like this? Like, if we just give ourselves a moment to react to our reaction before we react, then I feel like things can go a lot better. Which I've seen. Do I want to talk about this? Do I want to talk about this? Mm, maybe not. Maybe I will. I've been seeing a lot of things as well. Um, specifically tied to like the Super Bowl or the World Cup. We know this to be true that um IPV, intimate partner violence, increases, it jumps during these major sporting events, these competitions, because men, and it's like, I know what you're thinking. Oh, when their team loses, they're upset, so they let it out on their partners, which is true. But even when they win, they also get violent toward their partners, which I don't know why that is. They don't, it doesn't jump as much as when they lose, but it's still like, whoa, why are we doing that? Period. Why are we hating our partners? That's crazy work. The hooliganism of it all. Why must we act this way? I genuinely don't understand. Like, if you're excited, why would you beat someone up? Why would you beat someone up? I have much more to say about this. Maybe not now, because we're specifically talking about um the World Cup and originally why it was so ass this year. Um, my train of thought. But yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about how men are socialized, and I feel like sports are. And I mentioned this before in one of my Flash Game Fridays. I casually mentioned it on how um women we have this belief that women are so emotional and hysterical and they're sensitive and like they're just dramatic and they're like always screaming and crying when not even just like players and soccer specifically like diving and flipping and doing all the pop dip and spin and then crying to the referee or crying to each other and like lashing out at each other. Not even just that, the fans, the male fans, it just seems like because as a society, the patriarchy of it all, the misogyny done fucked up everybody. People don't consider. No, I'm not the like, oh my God, but male loneliness and men suffer too. I'm not one of those. Like, fuck, you can keep that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of the times when you people talk feminism and women's rights and their problem is that they compartmentalize men and women as if they're like these fundamentally different things. It dehumanizes both in a way, but in a way I guess that is more visible for women, for example. Like it's more visible that is a little bit more overt and obvious that women would be dehumanized and we're like, oh hey, we need to fight for women. But the patriarchy, the first people that it fucked over were men themselves. Because what I'm getting at is that they police each other in how to act and behave, and then women are policed to like expect this behavior. So then we are all just perpetuating it. And with that, these, for example, specifically, men are not supposed to have emotions. They're not supposed to have emotions. So what happens? This is why they're the only emotion that's acceptable is anger or violence. Or like, violence is not an emotion, but the only thing they can express, the only way they can express themselves is through violence. So this manifests in when it comes to sporting events. This is why they can. This is the only place where they're allowed to have emotions and be passionate about something, which is why my theory on why um, it just seems like everything's so heightened. The emotions are so heightened. Because, yeah, you can make a case like, oh, but the World Cup is like the biggest stage in the world or whatever. Yeah, but if, like from some sort, some like recreational league in a community to all the way to like the pro leagues, you see the same pattern where these men will get heated over the sport, which is fine. Like it's entertaining as long as, like I said, we keep ourselves in check and we don't be acting a fool over every little thing. But the problem arises in that men are not supposed to do that in their daily life. So, hence why they blow up. They blow up. Which, when it comes to something like violence, and they're gonna express it because it's bottled up and then it all comes out in a very, very violent manner. Which is why we see them getting into brawls on the pitch or in the pub. I don't know. Because they don't even have power over themselves. So then beating up on someone gives them power over something. That's my hypothesis. I don't know. Someone probably read about it. Go research that if you will. But I think that's, yeah. Which is also part of the theory on why I think people might have a perception that women's sports are less intense and whatever is because, well, girls are not socialized to do that. Like they're socialized the opposite. Like they're supposed to react to everything or they're supposed to be emotional, yada, yada, yada. Or it's just they're supposed to do these things. And then also they have, I guess, space to do those things. They're encouraged to do those things. So there's not this, and then they're also not supposed to be violent to one another. which I'm pretty sure they beat each other up in women's hockey, but I've never watched that. So I don't know. Maybe I should react to that one day, a compilation of women's sports and them getting into brawls. I think that would be that could be cute. That could be fun. Um what was my point? I lose my train of thought or whatever I was saying. This is why we see less of it, or people have this perception that women's sports are less intense because they're not bottling up everything and then letting it all out on the pitch. Like they're just gonna play because that's their job and this is what they got to do and they think it's fun. So they're just going to play. So it's a little bit more like it's less tense and a little more laid back. Not to say that they don't take it seriously, but just for them, it's not the end of the world because they have more built in emotional regulation. I don't know. Is this making sense? Is this like, am I speaking a foreign language? I feel like this is pretty, like, it's all makes sense. It checks out. It tracks. But please do tell if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. Leave them down below or wherever the comment section will be. Because I'm curious to see how many people think this. Because sometimes it feels like, it's lonely at the top. It's lonely at the top. It sometimes feels like I'm the only one that thinks like this. So I would love to see other sentient life forms out there. Please engage. Uh, I think that's everything I had to say about that. In the future, I might make it more sophisticated. I might elaborate more. But I feel like, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. I feel like I said what I had to say for now. To conclude, mm, the Trump corrupted the World Cup. Yes, FIFA was corrupt before. Like, again, peanut gallery, shut up. I know, it was a crock of shit from the jump, but it felt like a one big dick measuring contest that America automatically wins because they chopped everyone else's off, kind of vibe. Like it is no, mm, like we don't even, yeah, we don't feel good about it. Um, but also specifically, and don't get me wrong, there was some like fun, entertaining. I feel like once we got out of the group stage, I don't know, it kind of lost its life. But maybe I'm just biased because my team got kicked out. But I was cheering for. I was cheering for. I really wanted any team any South American team and any African team. I really wanted them to do well. Naturally, I want them to do well, always. Um, so yeah, I did continue to watch and I did cheer them on. I was very, very upset when Mexico lost to England. I don't know what kind of tomfoolery that was. I don't know who wrote that into the script, but I was pissed after that day. Also the Cabo Verde and Argentina, absolutely ridiculous foolishness. Uh, what other highlights? Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you thought was a highlight for the World Cup or of the World Cup. Let me know what was a highlight for you. Let me know. And maybe if I'll think of some, I'll respond with more. Um, what was I saying? It was fun, but like they played in our face a bit, so it was a bit bittersweet. And I am sad that it's over because what am I supposed to do with my days now? What am I supposed to do with my day? It's like roll out of bed, watch soccer until 11 p.m. But then I got addicted, and now I feel like I'm going to withdrawal. You see this? I'm shaking. I don't know. All I can say is I guess I'm gonna have to start watching the African Cup and Copa and stuff. The Euros, I don't even know if I wanna. engage with that next year? I don't even know. As I've said before, but if you're new here, unfortunately, I had the misfortune of supporting Germany, and, they disappointed me like they've been disappointing me for the past 10 years. But hey, Euro 2028, maybe. We got it. We're getting a new coach. Maybe maybe they'll do their big one this year. Maybe they'll turn it out. I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I'm kind of getting my hopes up just a little bit. Um, yeah, looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to if anyone engages with this discourse at all. Or we're just gonna go back to beating each other over the head because that's easy for us, apparently, for some reason. Um, I did have intentions of going into the studio and doing something, but I kind of don't feel like doing that anymore. Well, like maybe on my own. I don't know. But there will be a new song coming to you in the near future sometime. Okay, so look forward to that. And if you're not looking forward to that, then look back at some of my old stuff. I don't know. It won't hurt to just click on it and see. Maybe have a laugh, or realize, like discover your a new secret favorite interest or taste or whatever. I don't know. Work in progress. That's what we are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I had a great time. I hope you had a great time. Whether you're far or near, I'm happy that you're here. Like I said in the beginning, I'm Honolulu, and you've just made it to the right side of the universe. So hopefully you can make it here again another time. I would love to see you again. I would love to see you again. Let's be friends. Let's be friends, okay? That's all from me. Have a wonderful day. Drink some water, get some rest. See you next time. Until next time. Until next time.